We are officially live. So, good morning or evening or hello for those of you just watching it at your leisure. This is another Green Dragons Dragon Talk, and this is for the Ninth Age. So, this topic today is the deep. I'm Sir MC. My name is Mark. I'm head of community engagement now. Used to be I was former head of playtesting, and with me today is Tiziano, and he is on the forum. His forum name, I don't. It's not a word that I know, but it's IORI78, and he started off as one of my playtesters. He has advanced to become the assistant head of ACS, but most importantly, he is the he was on the task team for making this new Demons book. And before, go ahead, say hi.
Hi, hi all.
And I want to say one thing about this Demons book is we have the North American Masters is up this upcoming Friday. It's going to be hosted here at Gamers Heaven in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. And it's just now coming back in the United States, where I think for the last 2-3 years it has not been held. I'm super, super excited. We have a qualifier on Friday, and then it's going to be Saturday, Sunday. And if you don't get in, you're actually going to participate in another tournament called Grail Quest, which was designed by one of my other friends, Phil Carl, who's Kazandu, up on the Ninth Age forums. And this is really the best of the best. I mean, I'm super excited. I've been to Buckeye, I've been to Corner Hammer. We've had where those are the really large events, but it's still kind of a crapshoot as to either who you're pitted against, game one versus game two. This is from start to finish, best of the best. Either top 30 or 32 players in the United States. We actually have one gentleman coming from Ireland because he won Corner Hammer. All right, so it is going to be a huge event. If you're not participating, you'd still like to, please go ahead, contact me on the forum, SirMC2015. Reach out to me on the email at usmasterst9a@gmail. But again, we're super, super excited about this event that's coming up. And that's it. So now I want to talk about the Daemon Legions book, because the reason why that I went from Masters to this is we're not allowing the new book for Masters because it just came out. But reading the book, and I've been working on the book since its inception as well, when I was head of play testing. And again, Tiziano was one of those people who was like, all right, I want to get in, I want to start doing this. And it's had so many iterations that by the time I stepped down, when I saw it, it was completely different. So
it's quite a bit transformation from when you are on the team and when we have released the book.
Oh,
we have many iterations.
I was also BLT too, and I remember sitting here with Snarkon or Shannon, and one of our first tasks was to work on pricing, and we're like, how the heck do we price this? Oh my God. And I gotta be honest, I am so happy. I am so excited between the work that you've done, the work that the background team has done. I mean, I've got to, before I get to you and your team, I have to give props to Scottish Knight.
Yes, it's a handsome work. The background team has done an handsome work. The art team have done an handsome work. There are a fine piece of art in the book. The whole fab is a really beautiful book. It came out. It's a very quality work for a no-profit association like us. It's very good because there are people that work on it that in their free time, and for people that use their free time to do this work, it's awesome.
Yeah, and so what you just mentioned there, I mean, well, first I still want to keep giving background team just a little bit more props. So Edward, if you watch this, fantastic job.
Yes, Edward.
Yeah, to your other team members, fantastic job. To who is now head of the art department?
Thorsten.
Okay, Thorsten is head of art department.
Yes,
Okay, because
it's I know him. It's an Italian guy like me.
well, I had dealings
It's
with
a
him online, and actually, I'm a little older. I've been playing for a couple of years. You know, I got gray hair or lack of hair, um, and I've got a 12-year-old who actually wants to, or not. Well, my friend's daughter wants to go into comics and the frames, and he works on comic books. Like I know for a fact,
Okay.
and I own the Daredevil that he worked on. Okay, I went out and made sure I found that copy. He is an amazing artist, and
Yes.
his team did a great job with this. It made me
Yes.
excited. And if this is the work that the Ninth Age, you mentioned the nonprofit. Nonprofits still get paid. This isn't a nonprofit.
Yes.
This is a volunteer.
A volunteer. Yes, I'm sorry for the speaking in English is not my native speak language, so I make mistakes. It's a
Oh,
volunteer.
don't think twice about it. Please do not think twice about it, because it's very easy to say, "Hey, look, we all volunteer." Here in the United States, we have nonprofits. They're still getting a paycheck. No, every bit of work, and I can say for myself, I put in hours and hours and hours. The work that I see you with
myself
this,
too.
that's probably beyond me at this point in time. I mean, I'm impressed. I am truly impressed. With that said, I'd like to start going into some of the questions that I have for you.
Okay. I'm here to respond.
You took a book that started off with 4 gods, okay,
Yes.
from an evil company whose models are beautiful, but I will refuse to buy at this point in time because they crushed a little part of me. Okay, and
they crush a big of part of me. I assure you that when the change happened, it was traumatic for many people here in Italy, myself included.
Well, it warms my heart to know that I have like-minded individuals over there. because like Gene Phelps, who's working from the balcony, still makes fun of me because it's like we'll be out at dinner after a tournament or something like that, and I'm like, I still won't say the name, and I'll be like, yeah, that evil company that needs to burn. I'm like, he's like, you really want to know? But
no.
You took a book from 4, and you made it your own. And 7 gods.
Yes, that was the difficult part on the book, because the old book have so many units, so many iteration that works on 4 gods. Now we have to translate that to 7. We cannot use the same type of demons, because we don't have enough units in the book to make 7 gods with 4 entry each. So we have to invent something, and that come out the generic demons. Okay, the core troops that can work for every demon, for every god. Some special troops that can work for every gods, and then there is the God's favorite units, like the greater demons and some units from the book. It was more easy to amalgamate the army like this, and not differentiate in 7 different armies put in one, like was the old book.
Yeah, like I'm just looking at the core troops right now. I mean, I see the imps. Okay, I can make that correlation as to what the imps were. I see the succubi. I see
Mermaidon.
the lemurs.
Yes.
Am I saying that correctly, lemurs?
I think it is correct, lemurs. It's a fun name. It creates a bit turmoil on the forum, because many people associate lemurs with Madagascar movie.
Well,
but in reality, the lemurs are demons. I can assure you. If you are an old D&D player, you know that what are lemurs, and they are in the mythology of many European poems as lesser demons. So it's a lemurs.
Okay, so but I'm saying it as it's intended, though, right?
Yes, yes, it's intended.
Because lemurs in the United States is the name for a monkey.
Yes, yes, I know. That's a problem. It's a cultural difference.
And
But
let's see, I see the myrmidons. Okay,
yes,
and I mean, and I love it all. I love how when I look at this, I see AP 3 with only one attack, but it's only strength, but it's strength 4. So hey, I play Equitane as my main army, and dwarves is my second army. Meanwhile, it's easier to say what armies I don't have. I do have a demon army.
Okay.
And I mean that's great. I see the lemurs, which are that are good all around at defensive 5, but they're only strength 3.
Yes.
So they're still AP 2, and they have parry, resilience 5. I mean, that's brutal.
They are specialized. Every core unit have his role and should work for his role, and be lacking in the role they are not. That's a common theme of the book. Every unit in the Demon Legion book should work well for his role.
So,
but
go ahead. No, please.
No. But they have a drawback. If you fail a charge with the Myrmidons, you are in trouble. Okay, if you successfully charge, you have bonus. That was the reasoning behind the work of the various units in the book.
Okay. Yeah, because with I mean, and then I just saw them with the Myrmidons, the devastating charge +2 and battle focus. Yeah, you fail that charge, or if you do what you do to most Equitane armies, you chaff it up and then countercharge.
Myrmidons have some problem. We see if is a price problem, or we have to receive some characteristic, but it's a beta, so we can work if something don't work. So we can work out. So it's we have still time to do some change if something don't work as intended.
Yeah, exactly. And where the rule books, and I want to make sure I make this clear for everyone, the rule book, the core rule book, is not changing. That is set in stone for the next 2 years. That's why it's called gold. It's golden right now.
And that helps our works too, because having a set of rules that is blocked and don't change help the various team to do the work on the army books, because they know what is the rules of the game and that they didn't change, so they can work freely.
Oh yeah, I mean, with what you just said is, I remember when we did the change and we were working on the book, and all of a sudden Perry became the equal, or always hit on 4s, and and paired weapons gave +1 agility. So all of a sudden ogres was a huge boon for ogres. And people were like going, what the bleep 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 bleep. But we're talking gaming here. So the other thing, I mean, as you just said, you now have specialized units. Each unit has its own unique roles. You don't have the jack of all trades. Like, as I said, I play Equitane most part. A knight is a jack of all trades. Okay, it's high armor. It has its ward save. It's strength 4, offensive 4. So it can go in there. It can either hit the higher units on 4s, hit the lower units on 3s, strength 6. You don't really see that with the Demon Legions book. It's all very unique. Why is that?
It is intended because demons by background are different from human. They are not so flexible. They born in a role and live by that role. If a demon of envy is something that go to hunt mage, like the mage black gremlin, they do well that, but they do only that. So we have to transport that on the book, and from this come out the specialization. it's intended that there is not a jack of all trade. There is not a demon that can do everything, but they have a perfect role, and the army should work as a jack of all trade if all the things work as intended.
So the work that you did on the Daemon Legions book, it is very much driven by the background.
Yes. All work on the book came out from the background driven. We have seen what the background team have done. We analyze the description of the unit, and then we try to imagine the rules for the unit by the background. We ask, we're talking with the background team if something don't go as intended. We try to work together on the rules. Then we see if the rules we come out are good for the game, because sometimes there is problem. You imagine something, you put it on the paper, and then the rule teams come out and say it's too much. Stop it. That was the problem of the Scourge.
Those early reiterations of the Daemon Legions book, and there's Shan and I on the phone going, I don't want to play against this. And I think that what you guys have done has been phenomenal. So, again, to give more props to Edward from background and his entire team, the background team. So, you were brought on to really help develop this book as part of the task teams and things like that. And I know I'm backtracking here a little bit. And you start off as one of the play testers, and then assistant as ACS. But what made you do you play demons? Do you enjoy playing demons?
Yes, I enjoy it very much. I like to have an army that can potentially suffers everything, because with Aegis and a good roll dice, you can flip the coin, flip the cards in every situation. And I like the demons as the specialization. I like to take a unit and know what the unit will do on the field, like the Remoris. I take them as a Anvil, and they work well as Anvil. And then I see if I can build up an army around it, to take the chaff, to take the potentially hammer, what kind of character enter the unit and can help them. I like the style of the demons as an army.
Okay, so do you play demons?
Yes, very much. I make you see.
Please.
It's my workbench, so don't worry about the disorder, but it's chaos.
All right.
Nice. I hope it can be seen.
Yep. You know what? Hold on one second. I want to make sure. Yep. Go for it.
That's my two green there.
All right. Nice.
I have a
that's a very nice.
I have a lot of. Thank you. I have a lot of. I play for many years. I have demons. I have warriors. I have vampire, beasts. So I have many army. But demons was my first army, and the oldest.
With what you just said, you have a tendency to be playing evil armies.
Yes, I have a tendency to play evil army. I don't like human armies in the elves. I like to play the bad guy. It's easier.
So going back to what we're discussing, being the new Daemon Legions book and its specialization.
Yes.
Two things come to mind. That I saw, besides each army having its own specific role, or each unit having its own specific roles.
Yes.
Before there were I think they were called Crushers. They had armor and an Aegis save.
And the ward save. Aegis save.
Again, My group has that one bit that if you say the wrong term, you have to drink.
You have to drink.
Early in the morning for me to be drinking alcohol, because here in the United States it's 6:30 in the morning.
No, yes, the old Rushers was more a jack of all trades. Okay, we have to change that. We have translated this to Brazen Beast. They lost armor.
Yep.
Because armor was a weakness of this army. In all the book, only two entry have armor, and it came be at to the at maximum of 4. Okay, and none other entry have armor. So we have to find something to compensate. So we have had an HP more on them to make them come to combat, or shooting will take them out without they can charge. On Brazen Beast, we try to create a unit that will be deadly on charge. So we think how this can come out. The impact hit, the bonus on charge, and battle focus. That was the point of them. And if they don't charge, they are in trouble. So they have lost. They lose attacks. They lose impact on the second turn, and so on.
Well, I've seen him in action. I played someone online who used a new Daemon Legion book, and he's like, "Okay, we're going to boost the strength, but it's got this really funky rule. Like if you roll ones, you hit yourself."
Yes. Because you are so rageous that if you don't hit your enemy, you hit yourself.
and he was like, "Okay, I'm okay with it." And I loved. It was like playing the old Vermin Swarm, and it was like. Yes. So to me, he was having fun. I was having fun, and it was a bloody thing. It was a bloody game. I gotta say that it was a bloody game. So, so I like that. I like how you stay true to not only just the background, but the army strengths and the army weaknesses.
Yes.
And the other, so the armor was one. And the characters is another thing. And then you know what? Before I get to characters, I want to mention the hereditary spell, because when I was working on the book, the hereditary spell was +1 Aegis save.
Was really different, yes.
Yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, "What's this new spell? This is not what I play tested and worked."
The problem with all the hereditary spell is that is not on the strength of many small spell. We have tried to create something more aggressive. With the new hereditary spells, if you want, you can spam it and have many entry in the book that can shoot it and make many pressure to the opponent, because it can be cast with 1 dice. That's something that not many people, that not many spells can be done in the book. You can cast it from many sources, many times in the same turn. It was done for, but it can be taken even from a one only character, and it could work because you can cast it at the end of the turn and have it to have a big strength and do some damage on a big unit or a monster. It's a very flexible spell.
Oh, extremely. I mean, so let's use it against ogres. And
they will suffer it.
Well, the first one is it hits at strength 5, so you're wounding on 3s, and it's doing 2 wounds, and then which I'm like, okay, well that's kind of potent, but then it doesn't, and then it drops down to wounding on 6s for the penetration rank, for the area attack of
yes, for the area attack.
Yeah, in which case it's only hitting. It's 1 times 5. So if you don't have a rank of 5, so with a big brick of ogres, you hit 2 more models that you wound on a 6. So average is 2 wounds, which is, to me, proper. And as you said, it can be spammed. But that means if you're spamming that, you're not casting the Breath of Corruptions. You're not casting a bunch of these other different spells that as an Equitane player, I'll let that go off any day of the week. It's only AP2. I don't care. And I play Druidism and I'll grow it back. But I think that spell fits the army and its definition so much better. And I'm really happy with that. The Dark Fire. That's the bane of my Equitane. That's the bane of knights. That's the bane of armor. Because it's like it's not.
We try to make something different from make a shooting weapon that have AP4 or AP3. Okay, because it can become unbalanced very easily. Okay, in this way, it's a strong shoot. It have effects on unit with armor, but it's not unbalanced. We don't negate armor at all. You fail it, okay, with 1, 2, and 3 against high armor units. It works. Against low armor, you can still have a protection. Okay. It's to enhance the role of specialization. It's specialized against high armor, not all armor.
And against those horde armies, like I'll use my dwarves again. Okay, it's resilience 4, toughness strength 4. I still have my 4-up armor. Versus my knights, it's a 50-50 shot. But the thing is, you still have to hit. You still have to
hit.
It's a low range. It's only 18-inch range. So
yes, but normally the unit they have it can move and shoot. They can march and shoot. So it's like a 28 because the Eidolon that have it can march from 10 and shooting because they are skirmisher. So if we make it too long range, they will just stay in on the side of their field and continuously moving and never don't allow the opponent to do anything to avoid the shooting. It's a drawback to be so short, but it's intended.
Exactly, and that's what I wanted to specify. Is it to me it is powerful, but it's risky because now all of a sudden it's like if that unit's still there, as you say, it's a skirmisher. They don't perform very well in combat.
Not very, very not well in combat.
They still
if they are charged, they die.
Yeah, they still take cover. They still take the -1 to hit for charging. So it's like, okay, I'll live. They'll be in range, and then we blow them up, and they go away quick. The characters. Let's talk about these characters because before all the characters were large, gigantic models. Okay?
Yes, and aside from heralds, they are all gigantic.
Yeah, and now you took even bigger models and down to standard size models. And the gentleman who I played, his favorite model was I think he was playing the Omen, Savar.
The Omen, yes.
Because it was a standard size. He put it in a unit of, let me see here. Let me, I have to read the names to say the names correctly. They were in the Succubi.
Yes.
And no, it wasn't. He didn't have it in Succubi. He had it in the
Myrmidon.
Yeah, he had it in the Myrmidons.
Okay.
He had it in the Myrmidons, and so I could not pick it out because it's the same size. It's a standard size. It's a beast, but it's still standard. Why? So tell me, 7 gods, 7 new characters. And I think we still have the equivalent of a herald in here too, which is the harbinger. Okay.
Yes.
What was it like to make these 7 new greater demons and all the difference in sizes. Like, how much fun was that?
Yes, it was very fun. And it's something that the old book don't have it. You don't have a character that can enter unit and be impactful on the field. We have tried to change that. The Omen, the Deceiver, they can do something for the unit, and they are a threat for the enemy. The Omen is the ultimate challenger. There are few characters in the game that can take a challenge from the Omen and tank it safely. Because with the multi wounds, the mortal, the lethal strike, potentially many attacks and potentially higher offensive is very, very dangerous in challenge, and is intended because the Omen is the greater demon of pride, and it takes pride to challenge a stronger enemy.
Mm-hmm.
It all came from the background.
Okay, and like looking at the rest of the again, as you mentioned, Mazra, for the Omen, but the other thing that also strikes me with all these characters.
Yes, there are 7. There is the Deceiver, which is the jack. He is the jack of all trades of the army because he can do many things. You have Protean magic, so you have the first one spell from 4 path of magic, so he can help the army with different things that the other greater demon cannot do. It can stay inside the unit. It takes attacks from the enemy. So if you charge something that have many attacks, it became a monster in close combat. Then we have for greater demons that can stay inside units. We have the Sentinel, which is a bit strange because you have a big base. You have a chariot base, but it's standard and it can stay inside units. Is a master mage automatically, and if to see, because it's a slot, the slot demon, if it don't march and don't charge, can exchange veil token from 2 to 1 instead of 3 to 1. So it's a very dangerous mage.
Well, let me ask you this, and let me get your thoughts on this, and its creation. So
Yes.
just looking at each individual greater demon, you've got the dominions.
Yes.
That affect either the army, specific units, and then you've got, if it's your general, okay, or then you've got the I have Omen up on my other screen here. It's Divine Right, where if I go down to the Kulima, the Deceiver, it's Know Thyself and Dominion and Envy. So it's like each one's got its own specific rule, and it's the followers of that Dominion. So it's like all of a sudden it's like, no, I'm going to have a Kulima,
they can do something. They can help the army. The Dominion is there because the army cannot have access to magic banners or generic magic items. So we want to make something that the greater demon could shape the play style of the army. If you play Omen, you can play without a BSB because you have the Dominion of Pride that can help you. But if you play the Scourge, you should have a BSB, but you can ignore parry. All the greater demon as a general can do something that the other cannot do, and so you can build the army around that.
And then when you tap into the manifestations, how are the manifestations supposed to be working with the characters in the army?
The manifestation are like the magic items of the army, the magic enchantments. Sorry, but they have two versions: the guiding version and the standard version. The guiding version works even on the unit they are inside. That will represent the fact that a more potent demon can make the lesser demon work for him and bend their will to his. So the manifestation works on them because it's his will that impose them on the lesser demon. Take for example, Kulima can take the Venom Sacs. Okay, it can be put inside a unit of Sakubi, and it can give poison attacks to a Sakubi unit. Mm-hmm. That became very, very dangerous because they are free attacks at each, and can take the reroll. So you have a unit that can reroll to hit and have poison attacks.
Yeah,
it shapes your army. Okay, to do it like this, you can do many combo, you can do many things, but you cannot influence other characters with manifestation. So to avoid how to say it, to avoid reblot and unbalance on the characters. They are not as potent as normal enchantments, but you can put it on something that have already be a potent unit. A monster like the Vandara Scourge cannot have something like a normal magic weapon, or it became too much powerful. So we have to something that can make a customization, but not to be rule breaking, okay. Game breaking.
Okay. So one thing, because we've talked about the manifestations, we've talked about the seven gods, we've talked about the characters, the units and the new units. One thing that was kind of a pledge from the from Ninth Age is that we would be able to use all of our models. Okay.
Yes.
Do you feel that we, the Ninth Age, have lived up to that promise?
We tried. I think that we can use every unit in the book, in the old book with the new. I know that there is not, for example, there is not a canon in the new book. We have in the old book there is a canon chariot, and in the new book there isn't. But we have tried to make something that can be represented be it the Hope Harvester, which is a monster that can shoot, and is on chariot base, or you can take the Mark of the Eternal Champion on chariots, on a Trash Harvester. So you can shoot in the magic phase. So if a player have an old model, he can find a way to represent it on the new book.
And so no, I was going to say, and that's exactly how I felt. It's like all of a sudden, it's like you've got that blazing chariot with the spear or the cannon. It's like, no, I can actually use it for this. You're right. It's not going to shoot the single devastating shot against monsters, but I was reading what it does, and it's potent. I'm impressed with the work you guys did. And
we try to make it because we know that people have many models in his house who want to play it. We are trying to make all entry useful and all the entry to have a representation in the new book. We hope we have achieved it. We see when with playtesting if it works or not, if we have to change something. But the spirit of the book is to be possible to use all units of the old book in the new.
Okay, and you mentioned playtesting. Just so everyone knows, we playtested the heck out of it, and even still, there's so many different combinations. We're like, we're not going to be able to do all this, which is why it's in the current stage it is now. As I said, it's and please, Tiziano, it's gone through several reiterations.
Yes, it started from a completely different, because in the first iteration we have to tie the mark of the seven gods with the mark of the warrior book. So we have to see two books in two different time to see if something works or not works on a unit or a book in another unit. Then we decide to take them out, because it's easier. It allows the warrior book to be worked in a way that should help the warrior book, and the demon book to work in a way that should help the demon book without interfere one another. Then we added Dominion. Then we changed the hereditary. That changed many things in the book, because have +1 in Aegis or have a magic missile is something different. So many entries are hit by hit in the work. We are still trying to see if it works. The full book is a long journey. We hope to have learned something from the warrior book and to apply it on the Daemon Legion book. And we hope the whole people can have fun playing the Daemon Legion army.
And I again, speaking from my own perspective and from what I've seen, the answer is yes. One player who I know who is actually from Italy, Andrea Nini. I'm not sure how big the okay, you nodded, so you may know him, but he's here in the States now, so I would not have
okay.
And I'm really interested to see what he thinks, because he's got a beautifully Brandon, who's also going to be up at Masters. Both of them are going to be at Masters. I'm really interested to see what they say, because they have beautifully painted armies, and I see what they field still correlating with what is currently in the book. And I think it gives them now options to now build upon. So I think it's taken some of that staleness and has added to it. And with that said, what is your favorite part of the new fluff with the book?
I like it very much the story of Vanadra, the story how the lion became the lion. If you ever read the book, you will see that on the part of the Vrat goddess, there is a legend how the lion was the king of the animals, but he was not happy how the animals treated him. So he make a pact with the god of wrath to be respected by the other animals. And by many things, he killed the monkey because the monkey don't bring him food, and he became a carnivore. He killed the hyena because they laughed at him, and the hyena and the lion became enemy, and he hunt alone. And in the end, when he go to Vanadra and tell her, I do what you told me, but now I have less things than before. And Vanadra respond him, but your enemy have suffered, so you have gained something.
Okay. I know the story that you're referencing, and there was a reason why we released the book the way we did. We wanted people to read the fluff, not just a slim book, because, as I said, to Edward, yourself, Thorson, and all these others, hats off to you for the volunteer work, the man hours that you put in. And I mean, I'll speak for myself. I mean, I'm a family man. I've got my wife and 3 kids. My youngest is 1. And I hear my wife in the other room with the 1-year-old. And it's, you know, it's a lot. And I want to make sure that people of our community understand what you are doing and what they are doing for us. So with that fluff that you just, am I still live with you? It looks like
yes, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
My screen just froze. That's all. I wanted to double check. So with that said, so does that story inspire you to paint new models and make a new style list?
Yes, it's all the stories in the book bring something. It's a work from people that don't do it as a work, but as a pleasure. Okay, it inspired me. The meaning behind this book inspired me to make a army, to paint models, to play this game, because it's something that we miss from all times. It's fun to make it. It's fun to have people play it, and it's inspiring in the way it's written. I hope everyone can enjoy it.
I think they will. I really do. And if you haven't read the fluff, I would recommend it because I think it will inspire you.
It's a really good reading book. Reading it, it's beautiful. It's well written. It have a sense. It explains how the unit should, where the unit come out. The little box where the description of the unit is. They function well. It's written well, and you can work on it. Take, for example, the Hoarders, the unit of greed. It says there can be many forms. They are normally a blob of tentacle and grabbing hands that will take everything they find on the field. On that, you can create everything as a unit. You can take what you have on your working bench and create a unit. I hope that can inspire many people to customize their army to represent it on the background.
I hope so. That's how I envision it. Now, again, I'm a KOE guy. All right, and I have been for over 20 years now. With that said, I'll say KOE for a new player can be difficult to figure out its nuances. With Daemon Legions, do you feel that a new player can pick it up and have fun with it against a similar skilled player or someone who's maybe slightly better?
Yes. I think it can take time to master, but when it can be mastered as an army, it will be very fun. For new players, it was easier for a new players to adapt to the new book respect on old players, because it's really different from the other books in the game. We don't have common items. We don't have halberds, double weapon, powered weapon, and lance, but we have only the things that are on the Daemon Legion book. So a new player that don't know anything of the other books, or have only read the core rules, it will find easier to adapt it than an old player that have a different kind of perspective on the book. But I think they could enjoy it and find it a very pleasurable army to play.
I completely agree with you. From what you just said, it sounds as if you and I are similar minded. Is that for a new player coming into this, you can actually make a more simplistic army. Like it's like, okay, here are your imps. Here's your shooting brick. Here's your here's your lemurs, and this is going to be that's your anvil. Okay, and it's like, okay, here's your core, but then as your skill progresses, you now pick up on all these different nuances of how how the units interact with one another. And I
Yes.
think that this is a great example of how an army can start off for that basic player who's just getting into the game, and as their skill level grows, they open up new and more avenues with
Yes,
the
yes.
book. Okay.
It's that what we want to make it with the book.
So with all these different avenues, all these different play styles, what's your favorite?
My favorite is Magic. Magic EV, Magic EV play style. I always play with one or two Master Mage. I love to buff my units so they can do things that normally they can't. Daemon Legion have access to at least 4 of the greatest magic path on the book: divination, evocation, thaumaturgy, and witchcraft. Witchcraft became very important in the new with the gold. So I like to play to charge and buff my unit to make threat to my adversary and cast a spell on the unit that he don't think he can do something. But for example, if I charge you with hellhounds that normally are chaff, but they are free attacks. They are free attacks each hound, and I cast something that make him repeat to hit and repeat to wounds. They can be deadly even as a chaff. I like this in an army, and I love to play like that.
Oh, and I love the new fluff for the Hellhounds. So again, Hellhounds for the old book was what, 2 attacks, strength 5 or strength 6? No, strength 5.
No, strength 5.
Yeah, strength 5. But it was meant to be used more offensively. Where this, I love the new rule, the Hellish Growl. Okay,
Yes.
where it's a leadership test. You fail, it's -1 discipline.
Leadership.
Yeah. And
yes.
You drink. You said the wrong word.
I go to take something.
The unit that fails to test suffers -1 strength and attacks from models with the with Hellish Ground reroll wounds. I mean, I love that fluff. It's not an overpowered, because again, it's AP 0, so it's not going to be against an armored unit. It's not going to do a lot of wounds against an unarmored unit.
But they have lethal strike.
Yeah, they do have lethal strike. That is true, but that's 1 out of 6 typically.
Yes.
So that's 1 out of 6 wound rolls. That's not the hit. So again, it's to me, it's a fun unit. It truly is. So you love playing Magic. One thing I want to mention with Magic, and this did me by surprise, because again, as I said, there were several changes from when I last worked on the book. Is you get your opponent and the player gets +2 Veil tokens.
Yes.
Okay.
We have tried to find rules that will not be punishing for the Daemon Legion player, but give something to the opponent too, because when demons are on the field, Magic, it's wild. It's a background thing. Demon comes in the mortal realm only when the veil is cleared. So when the veil is cleared, the magic goes wild on the earth. and that was represented on the field to give a 2+ whale token to you and to the opponent. And then demons are great mage, so they have a +1 to cast a spell with 1 or 2 dice, because they have to cast many spells in their turn, not only a big one with a +2, like was when you are testing the book. Test the book. We are trying to help the player to cast many things during the magic phase. That was intended on the army to be a strength of the army to cast many spells. And the opponent, we have a difficult time to choose what dispel or what let pass. So if you have many mages on the field, you have many options. I like to play a Omen and a Deceiver. They to be master mage, so I have many options in my magic phase. I can shoot a magic missile, I can buff my unit, I can make it move, relocate it with witchcraft #1 spell that I don't remember how to call him, but it's too many spells. The Omen with divination is a close combat monster, because it can have roll to wounds, divine attacks, it can have distracting and defense 8. You can help the army, give them hard target, because we don't have armor, so we have really we have a problem against small shootings, and distracting is something that helps us very much. There are many units in the book that can have distracting, and having a master mage that can cast another distracting on will give them more protection. I like the versatility that the magic can give to the army.
Okay, as do I. So here's our last question, because we're coming up on that hour mark, and
Okay.
as promised, just trying to keep it as the hour. We had a little start, and I know it's an odd time, which is why we actually don't have any active viewers. And again, that's because there's a 6-hour time difference between us. If we were to do it during my normal time for interviews, you'd be dead asleep, and so
don't worry.
Who would you like to acknowledge for the work and effort that they've done? Okay, is there any personal shout outs? Again, to me, I've already said a bunch of mine already. Who would you like to acknowledge for this?
Holly and Bjorn, Alfika and Nightwoon was the core of the work on the rules. They are very nice guy to work with. We have fun create the rules. We have fun talking together when we are deciding what to do with the fun. They are very competent on their work. I like to work with them. They are the heart of this work from the rule side. Without them, we don't have the book right now. We are still arguing on the power level of the Scourge. That was very funny, because for me it's really difficult, because in one day I have to rewrite the characteristic of the Scourge 18 times, because the RT always finds something that they don't like. It was really difficult. all in the same day. I have a thread on the forum with 18 different Scourge, with 18 different powers, with 18 different characteristics. It was epic that day. Because we don't find an agreement on how it should work, and without the expertise of Alfika and Nightwoon, we will never come out with the book. So I make kudos to them for the great work they have done.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the Scourge. I remember when the Scourge was like AP 10 and
Yeah.
and I'm going, oh, no, no,
Yeah,
no,
the trick with the Scourge is it came out when we have to make him mage.
no. Yep.
To distance ourselves from the whole the fluff and the whole perception of the book. Every greater demon must be a mage, but all players want a Scourge that is a monster in close combat. So we have to find a compromise between magic and close combat. The current Scourge, I think, aside from the price, which I think is a bit high, but it can be lowered in the future. I think it works as a demon that can do damage in close combat, but it can help the army with magic and help himself with magic. One thing is that the players have difficulty to understand is agility 0 on the agility 0 on the Scourge. But if you think between manifestations and magic, the Scourge can have a +9 in agility, be from magic or be from other source like the -3 in agility that the Lemuris can give to the opponent or the Sakobi can give to the opponent. We cannot make a Scourge that have agility 9 like the old book, because in the new book it will become impossible to hit before him. It can go to 18 of agility is something that we don't want. So we have to find a compromise. We see if it works. If it don't work, we raise agility or lower the price of the Scourge. We see in the future. But right now, the sense of agility 0 became because it can be buffed. It's a thing that the old book cannot done. It's different.
And I think there is a way for it to turn around and gain health points back. Is there not somewhere in the book?
No. Thankfully, not. There is no way. We have inserted that kind of drawback if you use attacks, if we regain HP. Because if someone would play an alliance army with another army that have druidism and cast a spell that make him regain wounds, we have to make it balanced, even if in this case.
Okay, excellent. That's what I was looking for. But it's still a resilient 6 monster, 6 hit points. Base with 5 attacks plus stomp. So if you're playing against an infantry army, this thing is murder. If you're playing against a heavy armored, it's still AP 4.
You can go 5 with red days.
Yeah, and here's the thing: it's offensive 8. Okay, you are hitting everything except for truly elite characters on 2s.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So any dwarf that's the base dwarf is defensive 4. Equitane Knights of the Realm, defensive 4.
And 4?
Yeah. Anything that's going to be defensive 4, which is elves, okay, until you start talking elite elves, you are hitting on 2s. And then you've got the thunder stomps because it is still gigantic. And
yes, and he can become a mage and cast on himself no tie enemy. So he can become offensive 10.
Yeah.
So he can hit on 2 even elite unit like Chosen or Swordmaster.
Yep. And you know what? Even a Great Khan. Okay, I think Great Khan is only defensive 6.
Yes.
Yeah. So here's the thing is, or a Paladin, or Empire characters. It's still it's still going to hit on 2s, wound on 2s. Yeah, there's a 1-up armor save. It's AP 4. It's a 5-up save. So this is still a monster, and I love how it's now the magic and everything else. And I think that's, again, because we're giving props to the team, I definitely think that what you've done, I think that what the rules team when they've come back and said, "Oh, this is a little too much or not enough." I think that if this is the level of work that's coming out, and don't get me wrong, I like the Warriors book too. I think there's
no, I like it too. Yeah, you have taken some time to be on shape, but it's an handsome work.
Yeah, and it's still being worked on as well. But if this is the quality of work that we, the volunteers, is putting forth, like I said, I've been playing this game for over 20 years. This is by far the most balanced, fun I've had with this game, and the level of work that's being put forward to everyone. I take my hats off to you. All right.
Thank you. We have tried to. There are many people working on it. There are people with experience. We have played this game from like 30 years. I have 40 years. I play with my dad, and now I play myself. We have seen what the old books done with an army, and we know what is what we will try to make it balanced and fun.
Yeah,
we tried. We are not professional. We try to make it, but I think that working together with the community, give us feedback, we can reach a really, really, really handsome game and a really handsome books. When all the gold books will be done, we have the best game on the market.
And yeah, and I have to agree with that, and the fact that it's free.
Actually, that's important because it's free. You can download it, and if you want, you can make it on paper, printing it. We can do something for everyone. Yep. And it's not something that the whole game can be done, because we have seen. We are not compelled by a corporate mechanics of make a book. Okay, you have seen. Well, we don't make it to sell it. We make it to enjoy it. It's really different.
To quote that evil company whose name I will still not mention, is that they are a model company. They are not a game company. And the thing is, we buy the models to play the game for the most part. Many of us are hobbyists, and I get that. But I want to be able to put it down and have fun.
We made the game to play the models. It's that different.
Yes. And again, job well done. So, Tiziano, do me a favor, just stick around for 1 second. Want to go ahead and wrap this up. Again, everyone, we will be this has been a wonderful interview regarding the new Daemon Legions book. Also to reiterate, we have the North American Masters coming up. It will be this Friday. We will actually be posting Table 2 live from the Green Dragons website. We will be posting Table 1. Actually, we may actually have 3 tables being played. So we'll have Table 1 either on Wargaming from the Balcony or Skaven and AZ. We're going to have Table 2 in one of those, and Table 3 probably from Green Dragons. So again, hopefully everyone will be watching and posting, and we really look forward to seeing you there. Thank you to everyone, whoever watches this. Thank you for everyone working on the book.
Thank you.
And until next time, oh, wrong thing. Until next time, happy gaming.